live that way and you're willing to give, you know, give to others without expecting something back. You know, good things are going to happen for you. Good karma is going to come your way, and I truly believe in that. So, yeah, that quote definitely stuck with me. And there's a lot of people I could, you know, point to and credit for helping shape the person I am today. But yeah, that quote is definitely the one that sticks out.
You had so many different initiatives, you know, animals, people, different types of things. Is there one that you're most particularly proud of along the way?
I mean, they all are special in their own way. You know, there's not one that outweighs the other, but you know, the substance abuse part is something, you know, this next calendar year we're gonna dive even more, you know, into and get back even more. Obviously, directly related to me. You know, I'm going on 6 years being sober, and I wouldn't be in this position if I never did get sober. So that's something that we're gonna, you know, continue building and take it to another step. But yeah, we're really excited about that, and you know, obviously help a lot of teens and kids that, you know, are going through a tough situation with substance abuse, and you know, get them the help they need, and also, you know, be a light for them in any way I can.
You talked about how that Gus Bradley quote really stuck with you, just in terms of your career so far. Is there a player around the league or a teammate that you had that you looked up to, that you thought to yourself, this is kind of what I want to be as an example for not just the team, but for the community at whole?
You know, there's so many different guys that I've, you know, had the opportunity and the blessing to, you know, be around and learn from. And, you know, it's honestly, you know, I've talked about this before publicly, but, you know, when I first got in the league, I always wanted to, you know, I wanted to reach out to the guys and get in contact with the other best rushers in the leagues. I wanted to be like them. You know what I mean? I was like, what can I do? What can I learn from them? And how could I get to their level? And, you know, there's a bunch of guys that I reach out to and talk to. But honestly, like, just looking, there's so many guys. I mean, from Cam Hayward to Von Miller to, I mean, the list goes on and on, but there's just a lot of guys. J.J. Watt was one of the guys as well, and now you see what he's doing on TV and, you know, helping people out in a lot of different ways. So there's a lot of people that I look up to and that have helped me along the way. You know, for me, I've always wanted to just be a sponge of, you know, information and learn and take from the greats. And, you know, if you want to be like the greats, you got to do what the greats do. And I've constantly had that mindset, and I still do to this day. I'm constantly learning and figuring out, you know, how to become the best version of myself.
I know you've always been about like incremental improvement, 1% better, and, you know, taking small steps. But if you look back to when you were drafted to this point now where you are, like, what would you say has been the most pivotal part of this journey for you?
I would say getting sober is number one, 100%. I wouldn't be here without that. So, yeah, if I didn't get sober, none of this would be possible. There's no doubt in my mind. That was, you know, the beginning of everything. You know, I was still, you know, I had a good rookie year and things like that, but I was not the person and the player I wanted to be, just overall in general. So once I you know, got into rehab and got into the, you know, sober living and things like that, really changed my perspective on a lot of things. And, you know, it's almost 6 years later, and, you know, we're looking back, and, you know, there's a lot of good things going on. But that's the thing for me. Like, I don't try to look back too much. I don't try to look at the accomplishments and what we've done. I'm always focused on what I can do next and what I can do now. And that's helped me get to where I'm at right now, and it's going to continue to help me, you know, get better, bigger and better.
What's one thing that you can do with your voice as a player to try to begin that journey for someone else?
Yeah, honestly, you know, it's one of the most difficult things because a lot of people are scared to, you know, have that conversation. You know, I was, you know, a prime example of that. I didn't want to admit I had a problem or admit that, you know, I was out of control and doing all those things. But the first step is, you know, admitting you got a problem, and that, you know, truly comes from within. Nobody can make you do it. Nobody can make you want to get into rehab. If you don't want to go to rehab, I promise you, there'll be ways you do everything in the world to try not to go. But honestly, it was the best thing for me. So, like, you know, a few of the things we're going to do is, you know, so we already have started this and put in motion, but, you know, starting grants and having scholarships for, you know, kids to get into, you know, rehabs and sober livings and things like that. And there's a lot of other things as well. But honestly, it's just, you know, having that dialogue and giving somebody and giving people a safe space to talk about their problems. Because I know when I went to rehab, like, I thought I was the only person in the world that had these problems, and I thought it was, you know, I was at the lowest of low. But then you get in there and you start talking to everybody else. You're like, oh wow, like, I'm not as messed up as I thought I was. And, you know, you just realize, like, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and there's millions of people people that go through, you know, what I've gone through, and you know, a lot of people around me have gone through. So, yeah, it's honestly that's what, you know, we're gonna focus on, and we're gonna continue building that. So we're definitely excited about it.
Very underrated note, real quick. I know you've dabbled in music. Pat McAfee's dropping his first album.
Pat McAfee is?
You have any
I did not
thoughts
know
about
that.
him jumping into the music space?
That's crazy. What kind of music is he making?
I mean, it sounds like they're turning some of his like freestyle, just like rants into some beats. Maybe I don't know.
Hey, I don't know, but everything Pat does, he turns into gold. So I believe in him. No matter what he does, he's the man.